Preview.
Streak is broken, sir. Losing streak is broken.
The story from my house was I turned on the game late. I can't remember what inning it was, like third or fourth inning.
Okay. That was a good one, was the fourth.
We were leading like 5-2, was it?
Okay, so the fourth was the breakout inning.
Whenever it came up and my daughter looks at the screen, says, "Oh my God, Poppy, we're winning." She
like
was
it's
stunned.
the first time it ever happened.
Yeah, he's like, what?
What's summertime?
What's wrong with
There's
the
no school
TV?
Today. Episode 78, Mainline Marlins podcast. Today is Weenie Wednesday. Arbetter's ponied up again, as they always do.
I was at
Love Dave
Arbetter.
Arbetter.
I was at
Can we
Arbetter.
pop up the Arbetter logo on our backdrop? I forgot about on the main one, like up there where they usually put the fish.
Oh yeah, it is on there.
Oh, cool. We can't.
I was
difficult.
I was at Arbetters, and it's very interesting because
Crowded?
It was absolutely crowded, like out the door.
Okay.
And of course it moves so fast. But it was also, I don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like Arbetters is like this is so sexist, but it's like, it's a guy thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I never go that I don't see a beautiful woman walking out with Arbetters. And there was a girl she had like 3-inch stiletto heels on, businesswoman, all dressed up nice, walking out with her, soda and her bag of Arbetters.
Nice.
And it is, I don't know that there's a more diverse crowd. Black, white, Hispanic,
Rich,
young,
poor,
old,
middle
rich,
class,
poor, kids, high school kids, people on dates. It's amazing. The crowd's amazing.
You can't mess it up, man. Like, if that is that probably is the best first date location ever. Because the worst that can happen is you get Arbetter's hot dogs. The date might be a bust. She might actually smile. It's been masked. Everybody's been wearing masks. Now finally the mask is off, but you haven't seen her smile. And then she smiles and she's got summer teeth. Summer here, summer there. Not so good. Yeah. Or just like a busted out one. You never know. So, but yeah, tater tots, fries. Give me
best fries in Miami.
I like the Emma.
They need to throw on some tater tots.
Yeah. Next time at the Trowbridge tater tots. They call them the Tro Tots now, apparently. I'm not sure that I want to have those. Just kidding, Mark. So yeah, good team win last night. Pablo pitched amazing. There were a lot of special plays. The Corey Dickerson play in the outfield, the 2 RBI triple that he hit that same inning that sparked the offense to come back. Duvall has 2 RBI hits. Starling Marte goes 3 for 5, I think. All around, that's the way I expect them to play day in and day out when you got the number 2 guy going.
It was interesting. The Rockies definitely look like losers.
Yeah.
Their body language is bad. Everything about them looks bad.
But I love Charlie Blackmon. He's like a bad dude.
That's
like
funny.
He looks like somebody off Red Dead Redemption 2.
He does, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I love seeing it. They didn't let up the gas at the end. We closed out the game. You got to feel good going into tonight.
Yep. And it's still to be determined, the pitcher, but let's talk about that for a second, because yesterday Daniel Castano put on the 10-day IL, and Braxton Garrett comes up, and that kid 6'2", 220, mainly 50% of his pitches are 4-seamers. And then it's a split between slider and changeup. He does throw some curves, but those are his 4 pitches, the 4 traditional pitches. But he is fastball dominant, 93, 94 miles an hour, top end so far. But he can place the ball really well. Right out of high school, drafted number 7 overall, number 1 for us in the 16 draft. So he's been around for a while, beating around the minors, and finally made it. He did have 2 appearances last year during the wild card game, and then that first division series. So yeah, he's been to the show. This isn't not going to be something new to him, but this might be a chance for him to solidify maybe a 5 slot. So I don't think it's Rogers going tonight. I think it's going to be Braxton Garrett and backup Penn.
It's great.
Yeah. So tomorrow, huge show, because normally the dignitaries I get on here are not so dignified, but we've got an actual dignitary. The Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas will be on stream in. Brad Johnson from the Marlins, who does the events. Yeah, it's going to be cool. And we're going to talk. And what's really awesome is yesterday after the game, I always watch the post-game press conference with Donnie, and then sometimes I'll have some other little shows on there, whether it's Kelly Sacco does a clubhouse show or sometimes Gabby Sanchez does a show that highlights some different players. Last night, one of the highlights of the little show they did after the post-game show was Gabby talking with Jazz Chisholm about what it was like to play baseball in the Bahamas. And it really wasn't a whole lot of baseball going on. Most of them played softball.
Yep.
And he had a
I gotta watch that because that's what when you I told you before when you watch the news, it's big competitive softball, which I'm going to tell you about a conversation I had about softball here in Miami. But yeah, big softball leagues all over the Bahamas.
Yeah. So this guy he was raised by his grandmothers, 2 different grandmothers, and one of them was a professional softball player down there, and that's how he got into it. And it's a really cool story. But there really isn't a whole lot. There's no organized high school baseball. It's like I would imagine it's similar to like Legion ball or Pony League or senior ball. You play up till you're like 18 or 20 years old, but it's not an organized high school sport. But it was more popular softball because it was cheaper to get the stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't as expensive for him. And I want to say his grandmother or aunt, I'll have to go back and watch it again, said, look, there's really nothing different. You hit the ball, you catch the ball, you dive after the ball, you run the bases. It's really no difference between it. So, he had a really solid family foundation that supported him. And once you listen to the guy talk, man, he's flamboyant on the ball, on the diamond, but in reality, he's a humble guy came from nothing basically. So
I love his interviews. My wife saw one of his interviews, and I think at first she was suspicious with his bright blue hair. And he's got a real spring in his step. And and then he said some of the most thoughtful, thought-provoking, a lot of gold. And he said like the most thought-provoking, humble. That was right when he first was starting. It was about his attitude about being at the game and playing in front of these crowds and just like the gratitude that he has. It really came through. It was great. It's interesting. The whole Bahamas connection is interesting. I think the Bahamas is like Cuba in many ways as far as punching above its weight with athletes. Right. So many D1 basketball players and they come from a place where there's not a lot of organized, like you said, organized ball. They don't have the chance. So those kids come up here and they succeed. And it's a cool thing. I've spent a lot of time in the Bahamas and I like the Bahamas. I always laugh about the Bahamas. Whenever I think of the Bahamas, I think about a news story where some black Bahamian fishermen washed up in Hallandale Beach or up at Aventura. In Bell Harbor, and they washed up on the beach because the motor on their fishing boat ran out. So they're there at their boat, whatever, and they get picked up by the police, and like they get
the fishing game or like the
like the police like they see them on the beach.
Cops.
They pick them up for an immigration violation, and the quote in the paper from the Bahamians like, no, we don't want to stay here. Like we want to fix our boat and go home.
Back.
like we're not immigrants. We like the Bahamas.
Right. We want to go back. We got better conch over there.
No intentions of staying here.
We got way better conch over there.
And it reminded me of just like life
calyx
in the Bahamas. Talking about softball. So I had an interesting conversation today, Tommy, with a reporter, and he was talking about how when he was a young man in the 70s, how big softball was in Miami. And he was telling me
like men's league softball?
Yeah, men's league, the men's league fast pitch softball. And he was talking about, teams that are in Wikipedia, right? The Clearwater Thrashers. He was giving me all these names I didn't know. So I want to bring him in one time and talk softball and kind of what happened those leagues. Because that's when I was a kid. I remember my granddads playing softball, right? Softball was a game that everyone played. And by my park, you should come one Sunday at Shenandoah Park. All the old Cuban guys are out there. They're playing slow pitch, but it's softball. And it's I don't use this word lightly. It's so cute.
We used to play on some leagues too.
You just played?
Yeah, Denise.
Well, that's what this guy said. It's funny you say that because this guy was Air Force.
Yeah.
So I forgot. So so it's interesting because he would be probably, about your age, same age as us. And he was saying he had a military background, and I don't know if it's because he was based in Homestead or what, but he said no, I was playing Air Force stuff, and then talking about like these incredible teams that would travel the country out of Miami playing competitive softball.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And he was talking about what it was like to have a 6'5" guy throwing fast pitch.
Right. I'm more slow pitch now, dude. It's too fast pitch is too much for me.
And I got to tell you, it was interesting.
That's for the girls, dude. I don't do that.
Oh man, and those girls, man,
they throw smoke.
FSU last night beat Oklahoma. That I got to tell you, I love the Women's College World Series.
It's pretty awesome.
It is good.
Yeah. And the men's are going on. Unfortunately, Miami eliminated by
ignominiously
South Alabama
by the
South
University of South Alabama.
Right. The Jaguars.
Horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, you make it all the way there, and Florida's out of the thing and at their own spot, and you have a chance to take over.
It was terrible.
Disappointing.
But
there's still some good. Maryland's still in it. Arkansas, I have a feeling.
Mississippi. It's either Mississippi or Mississippi. The guy
State is really good.
The guy I was talking about said that they have. It's either Mississippi or it must be Mississippi State. They got a kid throwing 97 miles an hour.
I can believe that.
And I was thinking, I told him, I said, can you imagine having played high school ball last year and stepping up to the plate 97. And seeing 97?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I think in high school, the hardest I ever saw was maybe 85. And that was like straight smoke for the 80s, late 80s. Yeah. But they would have some shenanigans with the ball where they'd throw some weird sinkers and weird crazy sliders and stuff. But
again,
other than that, you weren't going to see like anything 90. I never saw that until I did the Blue Jays tryout.
But I got to tell you something. It's interesting you say that because I think that's one thing that's changed with pitching. Like right now, the young pitchers today, it's like they try to use 3 pitches. Like you can't, most pitchers today, the coaches won't let you throw a curve and a breaking ball.
Right.
You got to choose.
Right.
It's change up, maybe 2 fastballs if you're lucky, a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer. If you got it in you to get some movement. And then either a breaking or a curve. Where like when we were playing as high school, people threw screwballs, people threw knuckleballs.
Oh yeah.
Like we don't see anyone, and I think that's affecting honestly the quality of the hitting. We talk about that.
That was a great movie too, by the way. Knuckleball, the documentary,
the
Charlie
book,
Huff, and the guy the
book's amazing. That's one of the best baseball books.
Or whatever. Those guys were awesome. And they could make their careers last much longer than the guy.
But who's that guy that's pitching now that's throwing 47?
Oh, yeah. The guy. Where's he from? Minnesota. But he's a big, chubby guy, too. It's not like he gets up on the mound. I'm like, dude, where did that guy like steal a uniform?
He reminds me of when I was playing softball, like beer league softball in DC for like the law firms. And there'd be this like big fat guy that would just be smoking cigarettes. He'd have a pitcher of beer next to him.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be drinking out of. And he would just drop in, that right slow pitch, that pitch that you can't hit. Like it just falls like a ton of bricks, and just on the money every time. And that's what that guy reminds me of. It's just that loopy, weird delivery he has. And the ball's just like,
nobody's expecting to see that either. You're not expecting to see 47, are you? Well, except when that guy comes out. They probably figured it out.
Listen, I think it has to do with the way we're training our hitters. They should be able to, but I'm not sure. You've grooved this swing in a cage against 3 pitches. Like they set the computer, and that's what you've been hitting your whole life. And here comes this fat guy throwing this weird loopy pitch.
Right.
They can't hit it.
You're used to swinging as soon as the guy releases. Now you got to swing like 4 or 5 seconds later because that's love it. So when you were at Arbetters, did you have which dog did you have? Did you have?
No, I had it here. I ate here with Grant, and I had the hot dog.
Oh yeah, with the spicy salsa.
Yeah, and then I had one just the classic, the mustard onions, relish.
That's a good one.
But there were no chili. This is all. I gotta tell you something.
A shortage of chili.
Everyone complains. You got to understand. I walk in there.
I gotta see what's in.
And of course, I say I want a dozen dogs, and I don't give any instructions. Although now at least I know. You ask for sabrets. The sabrets are the best. The sabrets makes the difference.
Oh, that's a good one.
But it's funny because it's funny. My daughter makes fun of me for this very same reason. It's like my wife will go get do you drink boba teas?
Mm-hmm.
So I like boba teas, and my daughter's crazy about them. So my wife will go get boba teas, and she always makes fun of me. My daughter will make fun of me because my wife will be like, "What do you want?" And the legitimate answer from me is, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't care. It all tastes
Whatever
the same
kind,
to me.
it's good.
Like I can't even tell the difference. So I like them all. And so my daughter like just finds it so interesting because they go in order. It's like I want these jellies, I want these exploding this, and I no, come on. But do you want mango or do you want lychee? I'm like I can't even taste the difference anymore. Just give me whatever. And that's kind of how the hot dogs are. Like I don't care. Like, but I need to start asking for the chili because there was no chilies today.
Yeah. So usually I get the mustard and onions chili, but I lucked out because the first dog I pulled out is the Carter Burris dog. Chili, mustard, chili, and coleslaw on top.
But there is chili in there?
On the bottom.
There you go.
Underneath. So that was a diamond in the rough. Shout out to Carter Burris, Columbus legend. And still a pretty bad weightlifter at 70, whatever, 80.
When you go in there, you'll see his uniform.
Beats like young high school kids and young college guys at weightlifting.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Love that guy.
So cool.
So tonight, who knows who's going to pitch? I'm looking forward to seeing Braxton Garrett get a shot at it. And I have a feeling that we're going to see some movement from between Jacksonville and Miami in the weeks ahead. Whether it be we're going to take a look at Jesus Sanchez or possibly Joe Dunnan. The last transaction I saw on him, he was on the IL, but that was like a month ago, and it was only a 7-day. So Joe Dunnan, the nephew of Alex Rodriguez, that did go to Columbus and then played, I believe, at NC State or somewhere up there.
Did you read the interview with the general manager?
Kim?
Did you read her interview?
I didn't read the entire thing, but
just this idea of I was wondering what her take was going to be, and it definitely like they're not throwing in the towel. Like they definitely feel like they can plug these leaks, be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see, which would fit your theory of bringing up a lot more, bring up some new arms. Let's see what we got.
Yep. And part of the philosophy of that is other teams haven't seen these guys, and they really don't have a scouting report on it. I mean, now in this day and age, with computers and all the stat technology that there is some stuff on the guys, but that's completely different than seeing it live. So yeah, I can look at a report, say, oh, this guy throws 50% four seamers, 20%, whatever. But until I see it leave his hands, I'm not going to know how to hit it. So I think that little element of surprise gives us a little bit of an advantage. And if we can win, it's only winning a few more games here and there over the course of the season that gets you in the race at the end. So look, we win a couple more against the Rockies. The Braves are here. They're in second place, 2.5 games out. We're 6.5. We can make up some ground there. And I'm not afraid of the Braves. I don't see anything good about them, really. And they lost the other guy, beat up his wife and right in front of the police. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Not a good look for baseball, really.
No.
But that's a similar thing that happened to Russell, Addison Russell with the Cubs when I was there. I mean, you would not believe how quickly the organization said this. We're standing behind him. We're going to do everything to help the guy, and then how quickly they distance himself, and he ends up in Korea somewhere.
Yep. And
that's the next thing. So I have a feeling the Braves are going to will have a very similar reaction to it, and that's something that is zero tolerance for that kind of stuff. So, not in baseball and life and period. So, both fathers of daughters. Yeah, they don't want us coming after them. I know that.
But it's a tough thing. I was definitely raised with that. It's just like there's just certain things in life, and you don't hit a woman,
right?
And it's very interesting. Like, not to get into a dark subject, but
right.
I've been hit by women.
Yeah,
like I gotten in fights where women physically got with me.
Are you talking about the old like Jello wrestling in Florida State?
John Candy. No, but I've been in physical altercations, like where the girlfriend will attack you, and like it never entered in my mind to strike back.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like I never.
Of course not.
You just, but that, I don't know if it's a thing that you're, and I've been in my fair share of fights. Like I will fight. Like I don't.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like I wasn't around violence. Like but it never entered my mind to fight, and so I have a tough time getting my head around it.
Yeah.
Because of that maybe, and I am judgmental Like if I find out you hit women,
it's not cool. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have like, exactly. To me, it's not cool. There's just certain lines,
Yeah.
and to me personally, that's one of those lines. There's nothing a woman could say to me or do to me that would cause me to strike them. So why are you hitting your women?
Right. And it's one thing you say, "Oh, we're dads of daughters," but I'm also a son of a mom and aunts and everything like that. So
and I think
even if I didn't have a daughter, it'd be the same.
And I try not to be judgmental. I didn't see my dad or any of the men in my life hit women. So I never saw it. I never had an example. Yeah. And if any example I had, if I remember, like on a construction site, when it came up, that person was a pariah, right? It was not looked upon with any understanding or you were judged.
Right. Absolutely. So let me do a couple little clear up follow-ups from yesterday, because I said that the single game tickets went on sale today. It's actually tomorrow. But I was correct on the job fair that's at the ballpark on Monday from 11 to 3.
Get a job at the Marlins.
Get a job. Work
Love
for the fish. How much more awesome could it be?
And I'll give it one shout out. I have a friend of mine whose son, he plays football at Clark Atlanta. Like he's going back to school soon. He got a job. I saw him at the dad told me, my friend told me, he's like, my son's working this section. He works in that little section over probably the best section, the left field, that one little outfield section.
Oh yeah.
Right. Kind of by the bar there. He works one of those little sections there. And he's so happy. He was not a baseball fan before. I talked about this yesterday. He was not a baseball fan at all. You played football at Coral Gables, and just didn't care about baseball. And now he's a baseball fan, even with this losing baseball. But like he loves that job. So shout out to the Marlins. That's pretty awesome. Jeffrey's very happy.
And what I didn't realize is that from that interview with Jose, is they have their own hospitality team that runs your thing. Like you can go in and train, and maybe you have one person that's kind of like the overseeing manager or whatever, but they basically staff it for you. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I'm psyched. I'm going to be there Sunday against the Braves for the Hawaiian shirt giveaway, which will be cool. But you know what? Right, we haven't even done Weenie Wednesday. We're almost
do it. Hurry up.
We got on some crazy tangent, and now we got to pull up. Go ahead, Denise. Play the intro video with the twerking weenies. It's got to be there somewhere.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Did it go through? Yep. All right. Here's my weenie, Isan Diaz. Basically, batting as well as I could at the major league
level.
Could
just shut your eyes and swing and hit 143.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what this guy's doing. 0 for 3, 2 Ks, leaves 2 on base, batting the lowest on the team, 143 average. Pretty lame. Pretty lame. Bring up Joe Dunand, Coach Kim. All right, but on the bright side, let's do the top dog. Bingo. Oh, there he is. Pablo Lopez, who, by the way, when I did the my Instagram post yesterday after the game, Marlins win 6-2, he actually liked, and I tagged him in the post. He actually liked the post.
Awesome. Nothing not to like.
Go, Pablo. 8 innings, 8 Ks, 2 earned runs, 5 hits.
That's
the longest he's ever gone.
On a scale to 0-10, how surprised were you when he went 8?
A little bit, because his pitch count was getting up there.
I just couldn't believe it.
I mean, he felt good.
I couldn't.
Looks like he felt
good. I wouldn't have taken him out. I was a 10. I couldn't believe every time he'd trot back out there. I couldn't believe he was out there. Not because of, here's my point, not because of how he looked, but just in modern baseball, we don't let him go. Like I was like, are they going to let him go complete game? I mean, he was pitching well. He was feeling it.
Yeah. And I think at the end, like in the press conference, Donnie did, saying really, like he, felt like the guy still had some in him, but it was a pitch count issue, and it wasn't even about, you got to. It's early, still early in the season. Let's protect
given all our injuries to our pitchers,
we got to protect the guys. So smart move. Blyer comes in and closes it out, and he looked fantastic.
I
and
never
we got
know
the run support that the guy finally deserved.
But when they took him out, I got to tell you something. I had this thought, like, I can't remember what athlete it was, but he was talking about, someone that ran it back for an interception, and they caught him on like the 10-yard line or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what did you feel when they tackled you at the 10? And he was like relieved. Like I was exhausted, like a fat guy touchdown. I was I was happy. I was tired of running. And it was like, I wondered if there was a sense of relief with him. Like that was a long game. Guys don't throw those pitches anymore. And I wonder if there was a sense of relief like that, that's deep. That's the deepest any Marlins pitcher's gone.
Yep. And I'm happy that it's him, man, because that guy's super humble and just an awesome person all around. And when you listen to him talk, and he talked to Kelly after the game last night, like the guy's nothing but just wants to win for the team. Doesn't care about any of the accolades. Doesn't care about any of the records. He just wants to go out there and pitch and give his team a chance to win. And that's what they're all about, really. I mean, I think that's what that pitching staff is about, Sandy, and you got to include Trevor in there. Look, the guy's been nominated or has gotten Rookie of the Month 2 times in a row. Don't think that the possibility of him thinking Rookie of the Year is not in his mind.
Yep.
But that guy's another one, just like Pablo, that is going to go out, give his best every game. If I do my part, then those rewards will come at the end.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly that's the way to do it. That's the way to think about it. And I like all those guys that we got. Those 3. I mean, we really only have 3 now with Poteet injured, so we'll see. Maybe it's Braxton Garrett that fills the gap, or Nick Neidert, or whoever we can get in there to, bring at least give us a couple innings.
Yep.
But yeah, great performance by him. The guys, Hollinsworth and whoever was doing that show with him last night, they picked Corey Dickerson as the player of the game, albeit, great catch.
Yeah.
And it really, sparked the offense with that triple. But not I think Pablo's play outshine Dickerson. We could have done it without Corey Dickerson.
Yep.
But we couldn't have done it without Pablo. So he's the top dog for sure.
Love it. I agree.
Tomorrow, Thirsty Thursday, sponsored by Biscayne Bay.
And I got to give a shout out. Did you see, I retweeted it. Did you see the new hats?
Yeah.
With the blue, the aqua blue,
the
old school. Oh, the old school script. Instead of Marlins, it says Biscayne Brewery.
Yeah.
Oh, Biscayne Bay Brewery. Oh,
yeah. I'll be wearing my black one tomorrow that I took from the prize.
Yeah, you better bring me one. Treasure. I wasn't here to get the treasure, so you got to bring me a hat.
Yeah, so
I got to wear a hat tomorrow.
Hey, listen, Jose, I'm going to be texting you after this because we're going to do another contest. I'll be announcing the winner of the first one tomorrow, and then we're going to do it every week. Give away a 6-pack and a Biscayne Bay Brewing hat.
Awesome.
And
we need to put a Marlins lager, and you already drank it, I'm sure, but at least put the empty can up here.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Well, Jose, you might have to bring us some more of those. Yeah. We'll get into that tomorrow. But big show tomorrow. We're going to do a rundown of what happened, obviously, tonight, what happens in tonight's game, and do a little intro of the Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas and Brad Johnson from the Marlins. And then let's just see what happens, man. I'm super excited to learn about how Jazz Chisholm is kind of sparking the baseball culture down there and what it means to have a real serious, key, basically, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the All-Star team. This kid, much a big.
I haven't
impact
thought about.
player.
We actually need to start that campaign. Is what we need to do.
We need to put a billboard down there in Biscayne Bay.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'm serious.
Yeah, why not?
He's the most exciting guy in baseball.
And look, you can already start voting. Just go to Marlins.com and start voting for your favorite Marlins.
We're going to start pushing that.
Well, I can tell you right now. I mean, I would definitely vote for Jazz. I'd definitely vote for Jesus Aguilar at first. I mean, where are the rest of the guys? I mean, I don't know if they're all-star status, but you always vote for everybody on your team.
Yep.
But those two guys, I think, have potential to really make it. But there's still plenty of time before the All-Star break, and it's good to see Duvall's coming back to life. And let's just take those Rockies down. So tonight, what is it? A 7:10? I don't hate to give up the wrong times. Come on, Winker. You're supposed to be my
fact checker
on this stuff. Yeah, 7:10 start tonight. Still no announcement. Gomber's going for them. That guy's 4-5 with 4.12 ERA. I don't know. I'm not too worried about him. If the bats come alive like they did last night, I don't have to practice Santeria anymore. But I still will, maybe have some rum with Joe. So, yeah, 7:10 start tonight against the Rockies. I'm going to bet it's going to be either a Penn night or Braxton Garrett starts. And let him go 4 or 5 and see how he feels. So, all right, boys, let's flip the M. 78 is in the books. Go Fish.
Thanks, D Nice.
Preview.